I've got my, I don't know if you can see it. I drink and I know things glass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to the Bro Force Squad Brocast. That's a typo, but actually might keep that. That sounds kind of fucking cool.
Broadcast, I like it.
I know. We are live beyond the wall, and yes, it's cold as fuck. I'm Matt Geiger, along with the mad scientist Brian Banner and Nate Thurman. We need to find him a nickname. We'll do that after
The
the
American
show.
Hero.
The American Hero, yeah, we already found one.
Come on, where have you been?
And we were reviewing, I don't know, where have you been? Jacksonville?
I have recently.
Tell us about your trip after this. And we were reviewing Game of Thrones episode 1 of season 8, titled Winterfell. We are grading this on our 4 criteria for television, acting, story, best scene, and theories. So let's go around the panel. First with acting, Brian Banner.
I mean, guys, it's Game of Thrones. This is the 8th season. Everybody knows what they're doing. There aren't going to be any surprises. Everybody does a good job. This is one thing that I'll say as far as acting goes, and this is something that I don't know. I saw on something that I was watching or reading. There are a lot of characters
Vague.
that haven't been in a scene together in 8 years or even ever, and now we're getting them in the same scene. So it's kind of cool to see these characters finally intermingling from different stories, different seasons, different times. It's just cool to see everybody doing their best with each other now as opposed to before. Like, I don't know. It was just really cool to see, like, Arya and Gentry, and you've got Sansa and Tyrion back together again.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like, I mean, the acting is obviously amazing
Yeah,
throughout the whole
it's not
series.
going to be bad, even if
But
it's not great.
you get to see them bring some of their emotions and some of their other acting chops back into play that they haven't been able to use because they haven't been interacting with these characters. So that was one of the cool things. I agree. That was awesome.
Can I just say one thing bad? I want to see what you guys say. Is anyone
No.
else not buying the John Danny love story?
Not at all. Not
Or is it just
Not-
me?
Wait, what? Not buying it?
I'm not buying it. I haven't been buying it since they've been shoving it down my throat last season. I just don't. Their chemistry on screen, they're both great actors. I'm not saying it's
Independently.
that. I just don't buy the chemistry of it. I think it's forced. And I think it's shoved down our throats, and I just don't buy that they're in love with each other. I bought that he was more in love with the wildling chick than I do Danny.
So
Well,
you're
he's
saying
marrying
that?
her in real life, so that's why you
So
bought that.
Are you saying in the story that you don't think their love is really connected, or they're just doing a bad job of acting?
I think I don't want to say it's acting. Maybe that they didn't give it enough time to really blossom. I guess it just seemed like once they met, then the second scene. Shut up, Banner. Then the second scene, it just seemed like they're in love. Everyone get it? They're in love, and then we're gonna find out he's a fucking Targaryen. And like, by the way, spoilers. And if you're not caught up to season 8, why the fuck you listen to this? But it just seemed forced to me. Just I don't know. It seemed like a fucking Jared Leto Harley Quinn thing where it's like they're in love. Just get it? Okay, now we're just gonna go off and tell the story from there. That's the only problem I've had over the last couple episodes from last season to this one, that I just don't buy that they're in love.
I never would have thought the Broforce Squad would be analyzing whether somebody is in love or not and saying their love hasn't blossomed enough for me. Just
We're
Broforce
diverse.
Squad history.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You never know what you'll get from us. Okay, does anyone want to talk about tits to kind of get us back on track, or you just want to go to story?
There were some decent
there's
tits
there's some tits.
in the Bronze scene,
Yeah, which, guys,
Yeah.
I love him. He's one of my favorite characters.
which my boner kind of went away on that one too because all they were doing was talking about the other guy. So I kind of feel where Bronn is coming from. I kind of got turned off during that scene, which is surprising.
Do you think Braun was thinking, hey, can I finish with these chicks? I still got 20 minutes left, and then you can maybe fill me in on whatever you need to tell me, or do
I
these
paid
chicks
them
need to
for a
leave?
full fucking hour.
Can I
Damn
at
it, I'm
least get
getting
a
a full
voucher?
fucking hour.
Yeah, can I get a rain check?
All right, story. Nate catches up with the story.
Yeah, the story. I I know there were a lot of complaints I heard from people and just reading online and talking to people at work about how there wasn't a bunch of action in this episode, but I was fully fine with that because I think they did a good job of setting a ton of stuff up. They did a bunch of references to previous seasons, even season one, but kind of walking through from beginning to end. The cool opening scene, the little kid climbing up the tree, was reminiscent of Bran climbing to the top of the castle when the Baratheons are coming to Winterfell in the first season. And then Bran obviously meeting back up with Jon. I thought there was a weird interaction with them. Him saying, "Oh, you're a man." He said, "Almost a man." Was that a reference to him not having sex yet? I'm guessing.
I think it was a reference to him being like, "I'm a fucking raven right now. Like
I'm a
not
raven,
really a man."
motherfucker.
I don't know. Bran, like I said, man, Bran went to Warped Tour last fucking season, and he's never really came back from it. So I'm hoping they tie up Bran's storyline, but with him, I'm just kind of out the whole time. He's just kind of the weird Xavier-looking dude in the wheelchair, just always kind of creeping around or something. He's like the dorky guy at the frat party, just waiting for you to not look at your drink for 10 seconds.
But yeah, I mean, going on from that, the whole storyline was cool. Tyrion and Sansa interacting, which was crazy because they talked about this, and the last time they saw each other was at Joffrey's wedding, which if I thought back, I probably remember, but that was like season 3, so that was like 5 seasons ago, which is crazy to think about.
Good math.
But then the interactions with Arya and Jon, which there was some interesting stuff there. It was. I think there's something, and they're kind of building something up there with Arya and Jon talking about family and her saying, "Don't forget," and then Jon showing his Valyrian steel sword, but Arya not pulling her dagger out. This Valyrian steel. I don't know. There's something kind of shady there about that.
Banner.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no action set pieces. Did I want somebody to die? Of course. Like, that's why we watch Game of Thrones. But they have to move all the chess pieces to make the final move, and I'm okay with that. I mean, again, they did a good job of putting all of these pieces together. I thought that there was the line when Bran, I don't know, they said, "There's no wheelchair ramps, so do you want to go somewhere else?" And he said, "No, I'm waiting on an old friend." I thought that line, it took me a second, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? But as soon as Jaime pulled up, I was like, okay, we're getting into some shit here. And they're just, like I said, they had to move all the chess pieces into the right places to make this shit go down. I'm not sure, though, that we'll get into this later. I'm okay with it, but I'm ready for some people to die.
So with the pacing, I'm trying to watch shows differently, especially after the True Detective Marshall Ali season, where I just watch one and wait a week and watch one. So before I watched this episode, I watched the last 2 episodes of season 7, which were fucking action-packed. If you don't remember, that's when they went beyond the wall to fight the White Walkers, and they were on that island, and the dragons had to come. And then they met with Cersei and all that shit that fucking went on. So this, I think, pacing-wise, was a really good kind of slower pace, no crazy action scenes. Except you did get dragons, which costs a lot to fucking do, like with producing them and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like to say, the whole thing between Jaime coming, which this is on next week of Game of Thrones, and Dany. I mean, wasn't Jaime present during that meeting on season 7 when Dany was there? I mean, Dany really didn't kind of look at him or do anything weird. I mean, she knows that he is the Kingslayer, I think, right? Did she know who he was?
I don't know. I don't know if that's been brought up or addressed.
I'm not smart enough to know if that was the case.
Because, I mean, after the episode, it looks like, he's going in front of Dany, and Dany's to be like, "You killed my father. I've been dreaming about killing you, like, my whole life and stuff." That's the only kind of part I got from it. But best scene before we get into favorite parts, theories. Banner.
Best scene. I really enjoyed the interaction between Sansa and Tyrion. I just thought that he is always the smartest one in the room.
Are they ever going to consummate their marriage?
I hope so. I'd watch that.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. And remember, it's not like actually true unless somebody sees it. So I'll fall on that dagger if I have to.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's always the smartest one in the room, and I think in him talking to Sansa right there, he's like, oh shit, this is not the same girl from season 3 or Joffrey's wedding, whenever that was. She's seen some shit, and she's here to play ball. I really enjoyed their interaction. I thought that was great. One scene, I'm going to go to the complete opposite here, the bad scene. I'm going to pull a Geiger here. We did not need 4 fucking minutes of Jon Snow and Daenerys flying a dragon. We get it. They can fly on dragons. Like, you spent 3/4 your fucking budget in the first episode for a scene that had some shitty score in it. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. I didn't like that scene. I could care less. And like Thurman said, no. The chemistry. No, Geiger, you said that. I'm not buying their chemistry either.
Damn it! I was doing a bad scene too, just because we say so much good shit about it. So I'll do my bad scene real quick, then we'll throw it to Thurman. And it's that scene, but it's the end whenever they kiss and the dragons look at him like, like a dog or something, or a kid. I was like, dude, do we have to fucking Marvel and DC this up? Like, this is Game of Thrones. We don't throw shitty ass humor in it.
It was over the top.
The humor should be Tyrion Lannister, and it's almost like adult humor. It's HBO, but don't give me something that a fucking 12-year-old would think is funny. I thought that was so forced and so
the dragon's
out
staring
of
at
place for them. It didn't feel like Game of Thrones to me. It's just like, hey, let's throw in something funny here with the dragons. I'm like, don't make the dragons funny. They're fucking dragons.
There's bad writing for sure.
I felt the same way.
Nate, what do you have?
So best scene, I liked the first meeting. It was pretty early in the episode. The first meeting where Jon, Daenerys, and Sansa are all at the head table, and they're meeting with all the other lords and people, and they're trying to make a game plan and everything. The reason I really like this is because it's really setting up a ton of stuff, and it set up some stuff in the episode even at that. The little lord who ran back was obviously the one who was nailed to the wall. Creepy as hell scene as well.
Yeah. Which really looked like when they put him on fire, kind of looked like the Targaryen crest, didn't it? With a three-headed dragon.
It did. Yep.
But it sets up like the power struggle, which I think is foreshadowing for the whole rest of the season to see how that kind of pans out. And the ending line in that one was really funny too, I thought, from Dany, because Sansa says, "What do dragons even eat?" Dany comes back with, "Whatever they want."
Yeah, whatever.
She should have added "bitch" at the end. It would have made it funnier, but it was still funny at its own.
So before we get into theories, what did you guys think of like probably the most powerful scene with I thought this was good writing with Samuel and Jon Snow, when Samuel basically told him like, dude, you're Rhaegar's and Lyanna's son. They were married. You're the rightful heir. And I thought it was cool. He's like, it's treason. He's like, it's the truth.
So it was obviously a needed scene, and I'm glad it happened. I feel like it needed a little bit more. I feel like Sam just kind of said, hey, this is it. And John didn't really ask for an explanation. He kind of just went with it. And I was like, and this kind of leads me into another thing that I was annoyed with. Use Bran more. Bran has this awesome power, and we're just like letting him sit in the courtyard and freeze his balls off for some reason. Like, use him. He needs to be more an integral part of this plot. But I had some issues with that scene because John kind of just accepts it, and Sam says, "Hey, this is what it is," with no explanation.
But I thought it would be weird, man. I mean, so you go to Dany like, "Hey, by the way, my brother who fell out of a tree now can see the future and the past, so he's liable." And Samuel went and read a book that you can't see and you will never see again, but I'm basically king. I mean, who's gonna fucking believe him? Like, that's the most weirdest shit ever.
I think that they should have made. I agree with you, Geiger. It was well written and everything like that, but they should have done it a little bit differently. Samuel should have been nervous, and they showed he was nervous to tell him. He should have been more nervous. I would have liked, and maybe this is just the kind of person I am, them to be like sitting around a fucking table by themselves, having a couple of drinks, and Samuel's like, "Look, man, I really have something I need to tell you, but I've been nervous. I don't want to tell you, but I have to. You're the rightful heir." And kind of present it that way instead of just like, "Oh, hey, man, haven't seen you in a while. By the way, you're king."
You think it would have been built up a little more if they would have done it in like episode 3?
Yes. I think it should have at least been in episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could have done without it and built it up a little bit more.
Okay, theories. The best part of all. And we'll do enough of these that sooner or later someone's got to be right, you know?
Yeah.
Banner, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna start instead of really theories. I'm gonna kind of say what I want to happen. I think how it's gonna happen, I don't know, but I think everybody that is close to Daenerys is gonna die. Jory, Jon Snow, Jorah, whatever the fuck his name is.
Jory?
Yeah,
Like Jordy Nelson?
yeah. Only his friends call him that. Sorry. Um, everybody that's close to her is gonna die, and she's quote unquote the rightful heir. She's gonna give it up to Tyrion, and Tyrion at the end is gonna be sitting on the throne.
Interesting.
How we get there,
Okay.
I don't have any idea. But based on my Deadpool that I did, that's what I came out when I said, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die. You're gonna die." Those are the people that are left standing.
Well, I mean, they may have even set up for this. I think it was the penultimate episode of season 7, when I think they mentioned like people who get close to Dany have died, like her
Yeah.
brother, Khal Drogo,
Her son.
and all these other people. So it makes sense.
See,
So
I'm smarter than I look.
I believe, and I think this was just in the books. I don't think they've ever said it in the show, but the dragon has 3 heads. There should be 3 dragons. The Mad King had his 2 sisters. Then he had 3 children. Rhaegar died. Obviously, Dany's brother died. Fucking Momoa took care of that shit.
That was so fucking cool.
But they have 3 dragons, so they need 3 dragon riders. Obviously, Dany's one. Obviously, now we know Jon Snow's one. And we always thought Tyrion was the other one, but we never thought, especially Banner, if you go back and listen, that we'd have a fucking dragon White Walker, except for Geiger, because I fucking said it.
I always said we were going to have one.
So I believe the Night King is Rhaegar Targaryen. I've kind of believed that for a while. I think he was the prince that was promised, but I think he was more promised, and now he's a fucking White Walker, and that's his dragon. The Night King has to be a fucking Targaryen to ride a dragon. I don't care. There's a bunch of theories that say not, but in all the books and all this canon, if you're riding a dragon, you have Targaryen blood in you. I mean, I could maybe believe it was the Mad King is the Night King, but I think it's Rhaegar Targaryen. I think that's who the Night King is.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
With the, I'll just feed into that more. The kid that's all burnt and shit with the arms and shit, really creepy. That sigil looked a lot like Targaryen.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I'll buy that.
This whole story is about Rhaegar Targaryen, so I think we're going to see him again. A lot of people think the many-faced god was Rhaegar, but I don't think that's true. Maybe it is.
I mean, it's not much of the theory. It's just kind of a wild-ass guess. But I think the many-faced god is going to come play into it. Like, there's something with Arya. There's something too creepy about her, and there's something that's going to play out more with her and her faces. But anyways, getting back to the sigil with the arms and the kid nailed against the wall. I haven't gone back and verified this, but I'm pretty sure that's the same design or layout of the very first scene of episode 1, season 1, where they're running through the woods, and the guy sees the White Walkers. It's the kid that eventually Ned Stark kills.
Mm-hmm.
Very opening scene, and they have like the body parts laid out. It's like the same symbol, so something's going to come of that. One theory I have, and it's kind of a small theory, but I think the reason that Cersei had sex with Euron is so she can play off that the son whoever she's currently pregnant with is not Jaime's. And so she's going to try and say, oh, well, I fucked this guy, so it's definitely not Jaime. So they can keep playing out that lie that they're not fucking each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. I also believe the Baratheon, the black-haired Baratheon.
Yeah.
Oh, Gildry?
Yeah. I think that's Cersei's son.
Really?
Because Cersei talked about having a black-haired beauty child that died at birth.
Yes, that's a really good point.
But what if he didn't die? What if Jaime or her dad or somebody was like, hey, she's pregnant again with Jaime's kid. We want Jaime's kid to be the rule. And someone got rid of the black-haired beauty child, and that's actually Gildry. I've
Mm,
kind of thought that too. Watch out for that as well.
That's solid. I like that. Yeah, because I feel like he's always been meant to play a bigger role in the series, and he's kind of just been
Yeah.
hanging around. They've been keeping him around for some reason.
And he would be the rightful heir because I mean that would be he wouldn't be a bastard of Baratheons. I mean that would be his mom would be the
Yeah.
queen, his dad was the dead king.
All
All right, guys.
I got
Vader,
one more
anything
thing. Do you guys, how much stock have you guys heard the theory that Bran is in a time loop thing where he's the Night King as well? Have you guys heard of this?
That's a strong theory. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it's a
seen
big
that
one
theory.
going out. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's even possible?
I don't know if there's too much behind it. The one theory that's circulating the internet and has been around for a while that I think really is possible is that he is what made the Mad King mad, and that he was kind of because the Mad King was said to have been hearing voices in his head and stuff like that. So I really believe that was Bran talking to him, and that's what drove him crazy. And I can't remember the exact line, but they've said the Mad King's final words or what he was yelling at the end. I don't know if you guys remember.
Burn them all or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I think that plays into Bran kind of talking to him as he's jumping through time loops.
I don't know, man. Matthew Fox lives in the apartment below me, and he's said that time travel is probably not the best of ideas because he tried it on Lost and it didn't really work. So I think throwing time travel in this late in the game is a very risky fucking thing.
Well, I mean, Bran's already jumping back in time.
Yeah, but he's only had these powers. So if he's jumping back in time, can he also alter something like a fucking Back to the Future thing? Like if his mom doesn't go to the dance with his dad, that's a lot of.
Maybe. There's still that one scene where he jumped and the Night King looked at him and touched him.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Who knows? I've had enough of Bran. I don't know.
He's a creepy little shit.
I'm
Yeah.
branded out.
The memes that have come out of this episode that with Bran are killing me.
They've been fantastic.
All right, guys, we've been the Bro 4 Squad. Check out all of our reviews from Game of Thrones, and you can check out past reviews from Game of Thrones as well. We have a website, bro4squad.com. Check us out at Twitter. Tweet at us at Bro4Squad. We're on YouTube and iTunes, so follow us and subscribe. What the fuck? Subscribe to us on those, and subscribe to us on Letterboxd because Jeff thinks it's cool.
It's not.
Is it cool?
It is very. I don't know. I've never been on it.
Never been on it.
No.